Good morning, everyone. This is Robert from sunny Bristol. Glad to be with you again. Hope you're all well. I've got a game for you against an opponent from Romania. This game was played on, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and it was on chess.com, and it was a 10-minute rapid play. My opponent is Dandumitru. That's his name, Dandumitru. There's a picture of him there. Handsome young man. It's from a city called Brasov. That's quite a big city, I believe, in Romania. And I believe Dan is around about 40, 42, something like that. Maybe a little bit older. Now, here his rapid play grade is about 1660, something like that. But is actually now at present 1830, so he's obviously a better player than what his rating made him out to be. But I'm going to show you the game. I'm playing white, and it's an interesting game. So here we go. I played e4, e5, knight f3, d6. So this is a Philidor defense that Dan is employing here. d4, I'm going to open it up. ed. Now I'm playing a gambit here on this. Bishop e7, bishop c4, knight f3, e5. This is the bird gambit in this line. D takes e, knight takes e, castles, castles, h6, cd, c6. Now, it could be playing c6 just to stop me pushing a pawn on, or it could be he wants to bring his queen out and maybe to b6 or a5, and then plays rook to d8, knight c3, b6. So this is an opportunity for him to play bishop a3, which would force the bishops up. Otherwise, really, I might lose out because it's pinning the bishop to my rook. Could play rook e1 and then bishop takes, knight takes on c4. Play it that way. But here I had an opportunity to play rook e1. Then if he plays the bishop out to say b7, I could play knight g6. And he can't take that knight because he's pinned by the bishop, the pawn. So then I would be hitting that rook and the bishop, and I'll be hitting the bishop twice. So even if he plays rook to e8, I would still have a good position by going back with my knight to e5, attacking that f7 pawn again. Very interesting. But or just play knight takes bishop, but I like that. But I didn't play it. At the time, I think I decided it wasn't working. So I played queen e2. Played bishop e7 as I expected he probably would do in the end, because he can't bring the knight out if he leaves that pawn unprotected on c6. So bishop e3. So my minor pieces out. He's played knight d7, rook d1. So knight takes knight, pawn takes knight would force him to go knight back to d7. But he's played rook e8. Now that's a mistake because he's left the f7 pawn unprotected, and this could be very dangerous for him now. If you look at all those white squares around his king, it's a great opportunity for me to perhaps win the game quite quick. I'm attacking the queen. So he's played queen c7. And now I've got a free windmill move with my knight by playing knight to d6, check. He moved the king to h7. So I took the rook with the knight, rook takes knight, and then checked him on h7 with my queen on d3. So he's pushed the pawn up to g6, and there's opportunities here for me now. So I played bishop into f7, attacking that rook, and at the same time I'm attacking his pawn on g6. So this is fatal, really. I can't see him being able to do much, or if he tries to protect the pawn with the rook, I can just take it, and then when he goes knight takes, I'll still have a strong position. But yeah, that's probably his best bet, to play the rook to g. It's his only defense. So instead he's played it to f8, and now this is the end, because queen takes g6 and his king goes back to h8, and then after queen takes pawn check, he's got to play knight into h7. Just about it. I can't see how he can protect the knight. Then we can bring the other knight from d7 to f6. So maybe it's not quite over yet. What would happen then? So let's look at that again. He goes back to h8, queen takes pawn on h6, check, knight back to h7 to stop the mate, and I play bishop to g6, attacking the knight, and then he brings the other knight across, and he still lives just about. So maybe I would have to play knight to e4, attacking that knight on f6, and he can't take it because I'll checkmate him on h7. He could take with the bishop. No, he can't. That's it. I think that would do it. So after knight into e4, it's going to break the protection on the h7 knight, because I can take that knight on f6. The only other thing you can do now is resign. So he's still got the rook protecting that knight, but it won't be enough, because after knight takes knight, rook takes knight, or bishop takes knight, I just play queen takes knight on h7. Yeah, I think that's it. So here, Dan resigned. I think he saw what I did, and he decided it wasn't able to continue. So just one little mistake there by moving his pawn away from f8, a lack of concentration, allowed me to take that pawn and instantly create an attack that ended the game from move 14. It was over by move 19. This is what can happen in chess. You've got to be watching and concentrating all the time, because if you don't, things like this can happen. And I know he's a decent player, he just made a simple mistake. So thanks for watching. See you again, everyone. Bye.